So I want to try and get this video as short as I can, but I really don't know how to. It's because it's going to be a lot of ranting and a lot of criticism, I would say, and a lot of suggestions. So this year, someone found out that 97 of the 100 commons in the Megatins were originally common. The 3 that were downgraded were Tellarknight Constellar Claudius, Reincarnation of the 7th Emperor, and Rebirth of the 7th Emperor, while we got a lot of cards that were reprinted, so I decided to go look at the last year's Dueling Heroes tin. If we look at the whole entire thing for the Power of the Elements section, we have Gemknight Quartz, Melfi Wally, Penny, and Mary Melfi, along with Gemknight Lady Rose, all getting a double reprint from last year. Then we also have Dogmatica, or Branded and Dogmatica Central, Scatter Fusion, which is one that I want to talk about, as last year it was a ultra rare, while this year it also got an ultra rare, which makes no sense at all that they doubled up on an ultra rare print. Then you also have things like Digit Jamming, Double Dust Tornado Twins, and realistically, that's just a lot of wasted slots when you have so many other cards that needed the reprints. So after that, I decided to go through the whole entire set list of the Dueling Mirror tins and found out what cards were originally what rarity to see what they were. So let's talk about that. We're going to be looking at the Prismatics and Ultras, all because this section here was the main topic. So if we look at the Prismatic Secret Rares, 12% of supers were supers that got upgraded, 43% were ultra rare, and 30% were secret, while you had 15% of no data and new cards for the other Prismatic Secret Rares, like your World Premieres, the Altar Imports, and the 2 tokens. Then if we look at ultra rares, 44% that were common got upgraded, 21% of rares were upgraded, 31% of ultras were upgraded, while 4% of secrets were downgraded. Now my question is for the Megatins, aren't these supposed to downgrade highly, what's the word? Just cards that are super popular, high in demand cards. There it is. Aren't they supposed to downgrade high demand cards into more affordable rarities for people to get? I get it's the 25th anniversary of the game, but why are you keeping 30 of your secret rares only in secret rare? Then those are things like your Wanted, Dibelstar, SP, your Flameburst Dragon, and so many other cards. It just does not make sense. And then I did the breakdown of per each set, and we have Duelist Nexus clocking in at the 17.5% of the set in the lead, when Return of the Duelist only got 1 card, which shouldn't even be there and should be something else. And if we look at the side sets, they all only had a total of 64 cards in the tin compared to the big ginormous 400 cards in the tin. And then after that, let's look at the other percentages. So we have the core sets literally taking over, I don't know, about 60% of the tins, which is quite a bit. And realistically, that is fine because those are the main selling points. But they put in stuff like Power of the Elements with cards that didn't need reprints, like the Gemknights that I pointed out, like the Melfis I pointed out. And this is where this sheet comes in, where it has every single card that was not printed and was reprinted. As we can see, they skipped over the Tearlaments and the Vernisylphs. It's understandable that they skipped over the Sprite stuff because that was in Battle of Legends, I believe. So there's that. But also you have just a lot of random cards that really didn't need a reprint, which doesn't make any sense. And even then, they didn't even reprint full entire deck cores. Tearlaments only has Tear Cache and Pergorelia. Their field spell, Nemrelia, only got their 1 spell card, which was Sweet Dream Nemrelia. So that is kind of a kick in the face. And even things like Pearly didn't get Pearly Noir, while they reprinted your Pearl Lily and also Sleepy Memory, while they also reprinted everything but things that were in Rarity Collection and X Pearly Happiness, which kind of makes sense that they didn't reprint the X Happiness, but it makes total sense that they didn't reprint Pearly, My Friend, and Pretty Memory. But where's the Noir reprint? That could have been upgraded to a Prismatic Secret Rare instead of not getting reprinted at all. Then we get into things like your Rescue Ace. Hydrant and Turbulence weren't reprinted because those were in Maze of Millennia, while Contain and Extinguish were, and Emergency, but those still got reprinted. Now, Preventer got reprinted, which we definitely needed it, but these four were all in Maze of Millennia, but they weren't even needed, in my opinion. Then we look at things like Wild Survivor. Transcendosaurus didn't get 3 of their cards, which is fine, while Vanquished Soul didn't get 8 total cards, and a couple of them are very useful when they only reprinted the Ultra Rares, and they skipped over a couple of the Ultra Rares. And Novels didn't get a single reprint, while 2 of them are at $5, which would be at table and today's menu, I believe. Then we also look at things like Maze of Memories, where only 3 of the 10 Gate Guardian cards got upgraded. People were hoping that this stuff would have been upgraded in the tins. You also have things like your Flame Swordsman stuff. Only 1 of them got reprinted out of the 10, when a few of them kind of deserved the upgrades. Then you also look at things like Flames, or Junk Warrior, I should say. And I kind of already talked about this with a few people, and they only gave it to the original art, not the alt art, which doesn't make sense because the alt art appeared in Maze of Millennia. So that is one critical piece right there. And then when you just scroll down, Kaitapatera didn't get a reprint, but they reprinted Hornsaurus. They reprinted Combat Wheel, Triangle Oath, that didn't need it. And then we get to the Earthbound stuff. They didn't reprint Stonesweeper, which is the best Earthbound prisoner. They didn't reprint Harmonic Synchrofusion because that was an ultra rare. And they didn't reprint any others of the extra deck monsters from Maze Millennia outside of Kraken and Gremlina that came out in Age of Overlord. Then we get to Valent Smashers, which is a big slap in the face for a lot of these players that went out of their way to get these cards. Because I was hoping for a few of these to get upgraded, like Ultra Rare Tatenoto Shigo, Secret Rare Witch, Ultra Dark Blade, maybe an Ultra Goblin to help a little, just to push the Goblin cards in the next set being Rage of the Abyss. But only the field spell of all cards out of the 11 cards got reprinted. Centurion, all their cards that got reprinted got bumped up to Ultra or Secret Rare, and they have 9 cards, and only 3 of them didn't get reprinted. And none of the Valmonica cards got reprinted, which is a very shame. You also have none of the Tistinas getting reprinted, while they reprinted a lot of these Jump promos and Selection 10 cards that didn't need reprint, or the Selection 5 cards, they only skipped over 1. But you have V-Jump promos right here, you have V-Jump promos right here. But also, I'll take a Black Meteor Dragon reprint because that's actually a really good card. But seriously, a lot of these Jump promos, manga promos, just didn't need the reprint. And if we look, we have more V-Jump promos right here. And even special box set stuff. They only reprinted Advent, but not Apophis, because that might get reprinted in the future. But realistically, these tins are kind of a disappointment to me. Even the Morphotronics got skipped out. I would have loved to see something like a Telephon Ultra or Prismatic Secret Rare being the highest rarity in a Morphotronic core. But then it's like, okay, they did part of Gold Pride, but that's still not enough. So overall, what do I think about that? So the tins are very disastrous and stuff are waiting to happen, because if we look at the ratios, you get 24 Cards in a tin, as we could see if we go here, we have 24 commons. So in a tin, let me pull up my thing. That's 24 commons right there. And you get the 9 ultras, 3 secret, and the 3 quarter century secret rares. So if you want a specific prismatic secret rare per tin, you get 3 QCR. And we're just going to make it QC out of the 50. And that is a lot to ask just for that, because that is a total of 6% of trying to get a specific QCR. You have 3 out of 100 quarter century secret rares. I mean, prismatic secret rares. That's only 3% of a chance of getting a specific one. You have 9 total ultras per tin, and that is still a 6% chance because there's 150 of them, which is crazy if you look at the percentage. And then commons, I don't really count commons because you get so many of them per tin, and there's only 100, and that's a 24% of getting what you want. So how would I change the tin in general? Because this is just poor ratios. The first thing I would do is cut out the common. So common in general, just take it out. And then what do you have left? So you have the 3 QCR, the 3 total prismatics, and the 9 total, I would say, ultras. And what you do, since you have those cards that are gone, the 24 commons that we just took out, you can disperse them into other things. So what do? Well, if each tin has 39 cards, and let's just take away all that we have left is 24 cards left, what you can do per tin is bump it up to a total of 9 QCR per tin. And what does this do? Well, 9 out of the 50 gives you an 18% chance of getting a specific QCR. I'm like, cool, that takes off 6 of them. Then you can do the same with the secrets. So the prismatic secrets, those also get changed to an actually higher 9% chance instead of your small number of 1%. And then finally for the ultras, because we have some left, so let's get the 39 cards out of the way, and we upped it both by 9. We have total of 21 ultra rares. So it's all foil pack, so you don't have to deal with any common. And this gives you the 21 out of the 150 ultras. That can bump up to a 14% chance of a specific one. Now, they could add a super rare to it, but realistically, you don't really need to do that. Whereas it's better to do something like this, where you have very limited rarities, because from what I saw with the tins, you have the hype to the period of time, which I'm going to mark as M with an R. So your period of time. So they hyped up the tin over the period of August, and also it didn't help because there was also the ban list, which is that, and the shadow duelist. So these two helped into this with their engagement, because it doesn't take anyone, it doesn't really take any brain power to look, oh yeah, they're just farming for engagement. And then the reveal stopped, it plateaued. And then the reveals happened, and look at what's happening. The hype is dying out because people are realizing the tins ratios are not that good. Because having a 1% chance of a prismatic secret rare that you're looking for out of a tin is very, very harsh. And Same goes for the QCR, because that, well, I should say a 3% chance, not a 1% chance. And you say the same for the QCRs. That is a 6% chance, which those are terrible odds. This is literally a form of gotcha, because that's how Konami is. They are a business and they want people to spend money so they can gain a profit. So at the end of the day, in my opinion, these tins could have been way better than what it was, but we ended up getting something that put a split between the player and the company. And realistically, this is something you don't want, whereas something like the 2019 tins, which were absolutely one of the best tins we ever had. And that is quite sad to say, because this had promos, and this is one thing that people have been wanting back. This had Shifter, Nibiru, and Dark Ruler. 3 cards that aged fantastically. And if we look at the reprints, it's exactly what people are wanting. As you can see, it's upgrades to certain cards that weren't a secret rare, like Multi-Faker, but cards that were secret rare got downgraded. So you have Nightmare Corruptor Ibli, you have all the Nightmares. Nightmare Mermaid got the Prismatic Secret, while all the other Nightmares got Ultra outside of Goblin because that was banned. You also have World Legacy Succession. This got a secret rare when it was an Ultra. Sekka's Light, this was a rare, I believe, and it got up to a Prismatic Secret Rare. This was one of the most hype Prismatic Secret Rares that we had in those tins, because Called by the Grave is such a powerful card. Even Red reboots as well. And then we just keep going down, and it's like, oh, Crusadia's in here. All of them, some of them got rarity upgrade, while a couple of them did not. We have the Incantations, people liked those for a bit. Boral Sword Dragon was a secret, then it got downgraded. And it's like, it's so hard to think why Konami is doing this. Even the Dangers here. Both of these got downgraded. Both of these got upgraded. And then you just keep going and going. And it's just like, oh, Thunder Dragons, all of these 3 got upgraded because they were Ultra, Ultra, Ultra. Now they're all secrets. Duo got upgraded to an Ultra. The only thing that wasn't reprinted in here was Orcus, because those were dirt cheap. Commons, Ultras, Supers, and even Rares. You also have Colossus and Titan, both Ultra Rares from Secret Rare. This is kind of what I miss in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where the cards get upgraded, while the Secret Rares get downgraded. I don't think that there's a single Secret Rare that got a Prismatic Secret Rare in these tins. Even Fur Hire got reprinted. All the full deck got reprinted as common, and then you have 1 Ultra. Sky Strikers got reprinted in here, being their best cards, being all secret rare, ultra rare, or common. And it also shows with Hayate, it got a secret rare, and in the next year, kinda got a secret rare, just to match. So I have no clue what Konami's doing with the 2024 Megatins, because it's just so weird and it just doesn't make any sense at the end of the day. But I don't want to make this video any too much longer, because it's just going to get to a point where I'm complaining all over the place. And realistically, I do hope after the 25th anniversary that this nonsense stops, because realistically, I had my breaking point with Photon Hypernova in the game, because it was just Tearlament, Kashtira, and it's just been unfun and has just been draining and just going downhill because of all the stupidity that's still around. Konami's not willing to admit that a lot of the cards that they made that should have been banned, or they should have shifted the format by now, but they were too focused on a lot of other things, which makes it where, again, it is harder for the player base to respect the company. This is one thing you want. You want the respect between the two, while making things better with, guess what? You need proper communication. And this is going to be communication right here. Communication. You want that proper communication with your players. And honestly, I don't see this. Back in July with the ban list announcement, that was good communication. Them saying, oh, it's going to be late August. And late August came and went. And then we got it on August 31st, which was not good at all. The 31st was end of end of August. So that ended up turning sour, and a lot of people lost respect for Konami because of what they did, because Shadow Duelist, and also just farming for views. And one question that I have for everyone. Where Plushfire?